Come one and all and gather round. There is a meeting here this morning. There is a meeting here today. Come along. There's a meeting here today. Come one and all and gather round. There's a meeting here today. Brother, sister, come along and light your light, oh. Light your light, light your light. Brother, sister, come along and light your light, oh. Oh, light your light. There is a meeting here this morning. There is a meeting here this morning. Come one and all and gather round. There is a meeting here this morning. Greetings and good morning, everyone. Are we all set to go? Mr. Drummer, Mr. Bang Blower? We have to serve notice to the ancestors that we're here. They have been waiting patiently, lovingly. Serve them notice that we're now ready to go. Okay, Akosua Paucho, please bring a song, Mama Machio. Somebody bring a song. Yum! Yum!
Mema machio, jai, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana sankofa, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana adadi, mema machio. Nana sojibi, mema machio. Nana sodoswa. Mema machio, jinnae, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana wumtini, mema machio.
The song says, I give you good morning. Mema machi. Mema machi. It's the language of Kwaus people, their clan people. It's a language called Chi. And the song says, I give you good morning. Mema machio. Mema machi. Anybody say that? Mema momachi. Mema momachi. Let's go. Mema momachi. So let's go again.
Mema machio, jai, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana sankofa, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana sojibi, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana adadi, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana siobentuni, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana sodoswa, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana jina he, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana sankofa, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Nana esi, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Ensamanfo, mema machio.
Mema machio.
Ejae, mema machio.
Mema machio. So perhaps if we could put our phones away, we could join hands and hearts. When you have to turn your attention and look at me through some lenses, the only lenses I want you to look at me through is the spiritual lenses of your heart and your natural eyes. I am seen very well. I even look beautiful sometimes through those lenses. I'm not sure how that happens. But I will look absolutely fantastic if you can look at me through your natural eyes and through the eyes of your spirit. I am so grateful to you for your accommodation. So let us greet each other as well. Mema mamachio. So sing to each other. Say good morning. Give each person good morning. So you don't have to touch. Remember, COVID has not gone anywhere. So I still invite you to wear your masks and to distance yourself. But you can wait. Mema mamachio. Mema mamachio. Mema mamachio. Let's greet each other. Let's greet each other. Mema machio. Sister with the camera, put it down and come and greet me. Come on. Mema machio. You will never see my spirit with that thing. Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio.
Mema machio.
Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio, my sister. Mema machio. Mema machio. Mema machio.
Me mama machio.
Take it away, drummers.
Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana dade kofi. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana sankofa. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana siodosua. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana jina he. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana esi. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
Nana insiwaya. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio. Hey, drummers. Me mama machio. To the drum. Me mama machio. To your hands. Me mama machio. To our hearts. Me mama machio. To the sun. Me mama machio. As you the river. Me mama machio. To the trees. Me mama machio. Me mama machio. Hey, mama machio. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
All of nature.
Me mama machio.
Everything that is alive.
Me mama machio.
All that breathes
Me mama machio.
while we sing.
Me mama machio.
We want to dance. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
We breathe love. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
And respect. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio.
All the energies that we need today, and we greet
Me
them. We
mama
say good morning to them.
machio. Me mama machio.
Me mama machio. We give thanks. We give honor. We give praise. My name is Fofie, and it is my pleasure today to guide you through today's program. This is the 14th Annual International Charlestown Maroon Conference, and today is Chow Day. I will say more after our drummers have roused the energies for us even more. I see the cell phones out again. I see the cell phones out again. We're not a cell phone activity today.
Mama Juba, come rock your body. Mama Juba,
Thank you. Next time we'll invite you to lead.
Oh, Mama Juba. Mama Juba. I'm saying Mama Juba, come rock your body. Mama Juba, come shake your bam bam.
Right, that's the spirit. That's it now. Call those ancestors. Yes, that's it.
Me no know your name, oh. Me no know your name, oh. Oh, me say Blue Yeri Mama.
Blue Yeri Baba.
Blue Yeri Mama.
Blue Yeri.
Why me no know your name, oh.
Your name, oh.
Me no know your name, oh. Oh, me say Blue Yeri Mama.
Blue Yeri Mama.
Blue Yeri Mama. I me no know your name, oh. Me no know your name, oh. Blue Yeri Mama. Blue Yeri Mama.
Yeri you.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Ibo gala where you been
I
there?
say Ibo ga come knock your pom pom.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Ibo gala knock your pom pom.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala where you been
I
there?
say Ibo ga come knock your pom pom.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Ibo gala knock your pom pom.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala where you been there?
I say Ibo ga come knock your pom pom.
Oh, Ibo gala where you been there?
Ibo where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala knock your pom pom.
Ibo gala where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala knock your pom pom.
Ibo where you been there?
Oh, Ibo gala knock your pom pom.
Let me room my album, man, let me room my let me room my album, man, let me. I'm say let me a room figure dance, let me a room figure sing,
Lend me your room. Lend me your room. Lend me your room.
my album, man,
Lend me your room. Lend me your room.
my album, man, let me a room, let me a room figure dance,
Lend me your room.
figure sing,
Lend me your room. Lend me your room. Lend me your room.
take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh. I'm say take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh.
Take your mommy $11 because man you man no.
11 force you come, 11 force you cut, oh.
Because man you man no.
Take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh.
Take your mommy $11 because man you man no.
Take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh. Take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh. 11 years you come and 11 years you come, oh. Oh, yeah, take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh.
Take your mommy $11 because man you man no.
You take your mommy, $11 go my dear man, oh.
Take your mommy $11 because man you man no.
11 years you come and 11 years you cut, oh. $11 go my dear man, oh. Ojai.
Colonel, please don't give it a mic because it's your time to say Akwabo to the visible and invisible people. the invisible and the visible people present. Over to the acting colonel.
Akwaba, Akwaba. So drummers, just keep it down. Don't stop, just keep it low. So I want to say, Akwaba. Akwaba. Akwaba to all that are gathered on the Spanish River. You know, Kwao make this special. Kwao make it really, really special that we can be here gathered at the Spanish River. So when I say Kwao, I want you to shout a big Akwaba. Kwao!
Akwaba!
That one was for me. Now I want you to give Kwao and the Spanish River surrounding theirs. Kwao!
Akwaba!
That's still for me. We have to go a little better and a little louder. No man, not all of them fight where Kwao go on with.
Yes.
When him take the
Spanish
River, when him take the left and give the British the right, knowing that they would come off in a blue hole or in a deep hole.
Yes.
You know, knowing that he can always divert when he's on the left.
That's right.
And knowing that he can always hide them and trick them. When they get across to the rock and the British saw them and said, okay, yes, we have had them trapped. And they start moving across the water, only to know that they were in a spinning wheel going around and around. That's where many of them were drowned. The
invisible hunter.
The invincible hunter. Kwao. Let me hear you, man. Kwao. Kwao. Akwaba, Akwaba, Akwaba. So, I want to first give honor to our ancestor, Kwao. Mama Nani, you're not forgotten. You're the greatest. You're here in our midst too as well. We want to say to the immediate Sankofa family, Madame Fofier, and members of Sankofa, we want to say a big Akwaba to you.
Enyasida.
A big Akwaba to Elder Keith. A big Akwaba. Akwaba to Lady Palm. Akwaba. Akwaba to my friends. Oh my God. The Chambers. Akwaba. Akwaba. All right. Akwaba, my darling. Akwaba to our own Charlestown Maroon family.
Dr. Goss.
Akwaba to Dr. No man, come on again, Charlestown family. Just a here, you know.
Akwaba!
Akwaba! All right. We want to say Akwaba to Dr. Goss. You know, when I hear that Goss, Doctor, me I forgot to check you out, you know. Because I hear it's a man.
Open invitation.
You know, me I got to check you out. But when I hear that name, it rings a bell. You know? And
a breakfast bell or a dinner bell?
Boy, I don't even know if a breakfast or dinner. It come like an entire course for the day. You understand me? But it's the bell. It's the bell. So when I hear the name, you know, something come to me. And I said, I must check out this person. You know, we are here not because of us, but because of ancestor Kwao. And so we want to say Akwaba, Akwaba to the Teff family. As I saw you walking, Sim, Akwaba. Akwaba to our own director, Uncle Mike. Akwaba.
Right now.
Captains, Akwaba. Little ones, little children, Akwaba. Akwaba. Camera team, Akwaba. Sam. Akwaba, Akwaba Sam. Akwaba to our journalists, our videographers, our music team. Akwaba. Akwaba, Akwaba, Akwaba. Akwaba. Medasi.
Thank you. You know, it is amazing how spirit works. And I usually tell people, if you want a program for an event with which I'm involved, if you want a final program, you will get it the day after the event. Because man proposes and God disposes. I have a wonderful speaker this morning who has been sent to me by the ancestors. And before I pour libation, I want to ask Mr. Brown, it was the name of his great-grandmother, And
Great-grandfather.
great-grandfather,
Charles Brown.
Charles Brown. You look up there, you all see Brown up there. Who see Brown up there? Who see it first? Put up your hand. Okay. The colonel, you know, quicker than the colonel, you know.
Why are you doing this to me? Anyway.
And, well, tell them your name, and I want him to talk about the Spanish River and the hole, the Samson hole, because I hear about that Samson hole, but see this living testimony here. Mr. Brown
slash
Blake,
Yes.
over to you. Talk
Thank
about
you
this
very
river.
much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
It's good to be here. My name is Fitzroy Blake. I'm affiliated with the Brown, so you can slash Maroon. My great-grandfather, Charles Brown, was a slave.
An enslaved person, we say these days,
Enslaved.
modern times.
Enslaved. He
I mean, the beating was any less.
85 acres of the land that was enslaved. He acquired that 85 acres of land when slavery abolished. As a result, he could not purchase the land. So he took lashes in order to acquire 85 acres of land. It encompasses from Skibo actually all the way down to here. There was a river. If you walk over there, you can see the relics, for lack of a better word, of the river. Specifically, what I want to talk about is the Samson's Pool, and I'm pointing down there. That's where the Samson's Pool used to be. Legend has it that at 12 o'clock, there was a golden table that comes to the surface. People wanted to retrieve the golden table, so they came with their horses, their drays, and everything in order to capture the table. A minute after 12, the table will start descend back down. They will cast the table with ropes and what have you and try to pull the table out of the river. Unsuccessfully, they could not. Eventually, the table sank and pulled down everything that was attached to the table. As a result of that, they call it the Samson's Pool. They say whatever strength is under there has the strength of Samson. A lot of individuals lost their lives right there. So I don't know if that's where the British lost their life as well. But I'm assuming that's how it went. But it is very, 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 very dangerous and spiritual. That's my testimony. Thank you very much for having me.
I want you to, it don't get off so easy. I want you to mention the part about where the course of the river was before now.
Okay.
Because sometimes we see things and we think this is how it always was. Yes?
The major part of the river, if you should walk down there, you can see where the river used to run. It used to run straight into the pool, and there was a swirling, what do you call it? Whirlpool. If you go in, it sucks you to the bottom. Yes. So it's very spiritual. This was like a little tributary. We used to just walk across this. But you see this one, when rain fall, we can't try it. We have to wait till when it draw. Yeah. A lot of people lost their life, I would say. All this was very shallow, but never you test Samson's pool. Every time somebody come to them drown.
Yes.
Am I finished now, ma'am?
Is he finished? Interesting stories of the area. You can't go to a place and connect with the spirits of the space without knowing the stories. The stories is where the knowledge resides, you know? And so even this makes it so much more important, how nature came to the assistance of our ancestors, even as they fought an enemy who, if they had been left alone, would still be our oppressors today, and kind of, sort of still are. I don't want to say too much about that. But thank you so much, Mr. Brown, Blake, Maroon.
Thank you very much for having me, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Yes, because we're not feeding our ancestors. We need to feed them. Yes, yes, thank you. That's right. We need to call them. We need to call all our ancestors, because when we call one ancestor, we're calling ancestor Kwao today, but when we call one ancestor, we call all ancestors. So even if it is one name, you know, call it. Even if in your own family, and you know one name, the country is still there by the whole.
Don't buy Mecca where
Don't buy
water
me-
comes
That's
out.
right, that's right, that's right. The
Legend
co-
has it
yes.
also that he used to fill his goblet, his pocket.
Yes.
You know the gold.
Guard. Yes, the guardian man.
That's when you usually carry.
Yes,
over him back.
that's right.
That's when drinking
and
water.
Fill it right
tree,
there by the
tree
cotton
is
tree.
still there. You can go and look at the tree and take
And you
pictures.
know the tree, the cotton tree, is sacred to Akan people, the people from whom Kwao came. So that would have been a spiritual refreshing. That would have been a strengthening to drink that water that was by the cotton tree. That would have been acquiring spiritual power, sustaining and maintaining his spiritual energy when he does that. Jamaican people say, spirits living at the cotton tree. That's what I'm saying. But we know our ancestors live in nature in general. So when we go to nature, we're going to our ancestors.
And I do invite and implore you, please go and look at the cotton tree.
Okay.
Legend has it that's where Kwao drinks from.
That's right.
Right at where Make Your Water pumps from. Spiritual water.
One of his water holes. That's right. As I said before, and we just so give thanks for all that is being shared in this space. It is beautiful. These are the legacies of our ancestors. We are gathered here today. It's the 14th, as I said before, the 14th Annual International Charleston Maroon Conference. Today is day 3. And it is so powerful that day 3 is Kwao Day, because 3 has particular meaning to Kwao's people. 3 is a sacred number in that spiritual system because it represents balance. They cook their food, you know, food nourishes you. They cook their food on 3 fire stones. When they're calling you, they say, Colonel, Colonel, Colonel. Have you noticed how Jamaica people call? Miss Matthew, Miss Matthew, Miss Matthew, don't hear me, I call you. Look how long me there, I call you down the 3 times, but 3 is such a special and such a powerful and such a significant number. I'm especially pleased today that on the 3rd day of the conference, we are honoring a spiritual elder, military leader, just a powerful, powerful defender of our rights, on a number, a day of the conference whose number is sacred to his people. I don't know if you all know what that feel like. Not what it sounds like, but if you can feel that in your bones, you know what I'm talking about. If you can feel the invisible hunter himself. 3 is balance, and that's what they were fighting for. They were fighting for a balance in how this land was being governed. And a balance is not 50-50. Don't think so. I mean, so they must get the British 50 and them 50. The balance was harder them in charge of the country. Balance differs. In this case, balance is 100 of us in charge, because anybody else here and stick a stick and say this belongs to somebody else erred. They erred. They seriously make plenty mistake this or now. When you can call the people them for your place, who name Isabella anyway? How she walk? How she talk? What were her principles? What her mores? What are her values? What are her ethics? Can she teach our children to be decent human beings? Can she pull balance from the number 3? Okay, so some grave mistakes were made. And guess what? Our ancestors were obviously saying we need to correct this. So today, day 3 of the 14th Annual Maroon Conference, we give honor to those ancestors. We call Kwao, but we call, when we call him, everyone who supported them, even from their bedroom, even if they never got out on the battlefield. But as long as they had a thought, this system must change. We need to keep fighting. And so today, this three, I mean, this morning I was thinking, oh my God, what a perfect day. What a perfect day. The day that is and look at it, there were 2 days before and there are 2 days after. Balance. You ever think that you're standing in balance? How you feel when you're out of balance? When every minute you get vexed, every minute you get back, every minute you get, you're out of, yeah, take your energy, don't deplete your energy. So balance is something we strive for. And among the Akan people who are Kwaos people, that number 3 was a number that represented balance. And so we give honor and praise for all that we are learning today, all that we are seeing. It's time for me to pour libation, and I seem to be taking my time to get around this. But ancestors are so happy. It's like they want to talk, and they're just so glad that people here that can listen to them, willing to even come and be in this space. You all know what happened here. Can you imagine? 84 years of war, culminating in a major battle on what was a great big river. Samson Hole and all. I'm sure don't think them they call it that time. Neither did they call this river Spanish River. We know that's not the name of the river. And one day this river is going to get its name because the spirit of the river is asking for its name. And we have the right and the responsibility to give it a name that has meaning to us. To give it a name that speaks to our history. Not other people's journey into our space. Not other people's sojourn into our life. Especially when their intent was not good. Especially where their intent was to take from us what was ours. And build their own country. We can't keep calling things by them name, people. We have to come into a sense of reason about the space and the energies that we're cultivating. We say in the Akan language, when you call your ancestors' name, you keep them alive. When we call this river by the name it is called now, who are we keeping alive? I beg you to consider that. All these places in Jamaica where have the names of oppressors, who are we keeping alive? Who are we keeping alive? By calling those names. We have to grow up. Slavery and the enslavement of our people is part of our history. It cannot stay there. Because just to come back to this three business again, you're about past, present, and future. We live with life in all of those places, sometimes at the same time. You hear about anybody heard the theme of this conference? What is the theme of this conference? What's the theme of this conference? Sankofa and the healing of indigenous Maroon peoples, lands, culture. How much that? 3. What is Sankofa about? 3. The past, looking back. The present where you are. The future where you're going to be or probably are already. Because spirit time is really just one time, you know. Spirit time is just time. Okay? So past, present, and future does exist as one. And yet we still have the opportunity to look at them in compartments. What kind of greatness is this God that we talk about? Kwao said to the manko moaboadi in yankompong. Actually duompong. That is a God that can make time be one and yet you can separate it in a three. All right? Past, present, and future. That's the God who makes you mind, body, spirit, and yet you are one. Not only one with yourself, but one with the divine forces. One with this vast consciousness that we call spirit. One with this almighty creator God. These are the mysteries of life. We don't ponder them. We're busy looking on cell phone. Let us ponder these things. Let us ponder these things. Let us sit down and, as one of our deities from their Akan culture again says, let's connect the dots. Let's see what is related to what. I want to pour libation today. Libation, for those who know, is a way of praying. It's an African way of praying predominantly these days. I don't know that other cultures don't do this, but I know it's a very powerful way that African people used to pray. It requires pouring. That's why it's a libation. It requires pouring. And if you look in the Old Testament mostly, you will see incidences of libation in the Bible. They got it from us. Anybody ready to take up arms? Because I'm ready, you know. I'm ready. Okay? They got it from us. They got it from us. Yeah? So every day, perhaps, and perhaps more than once a day, Kwao Buddha for libation. Asking the great, great spirit, that creator of all things, the one and only one who can satisfy you in any way, shape, or form, the one and only one who can move your spirit because he or she is a part of that spirit, to come and see. To come and see what was happening in the space. To come and see how they were being treated. And so today I'm pouring libation to give thanks, not to lament, not to bemoan, not to lament those who gave their lives because they did it joyfully and generously. They're not suicidal. They're heroes. They're heroes. All those heroes. Because you see this water, although the big river not there anymore, the water has memory. The water does not forget, no matter how little bit of it left. If I even this much leave out of it, out of the river, the big river, the memories are there. The memories of our ancestors are there. All who those walked away alive, and those who walked into the other world. The memories are there of each and every one of them. So look at the river. Look at the river and see your ancestors. See the spirit of the river who guided and guarded and helped them in a time when help was absolutely necessary and absolutely needed, because their rights and freedoms. And Mr. Dr. Goss, he's coming after me, to talk about that battle and the reason for it and all these kinds of things. So you notice I'm not saying too much about it. Okay? Led by the invisible hunter, his sister, Colonel Harris used to call her Grandi Nana, Kojo, Johnny, and there are many others. But these ones we remember today. And it is useful we don't have to remember every single name, because as I said, we will call one, we call all. And if we have the names, we call them. And when we don't have them, we don't call them. But we have ways, and you will hear me do it when we pour this live. I want you to come a little closer, because I want you to help me to call these names when we get to these names. These names are ancestral names from the Charleston Maroon community. These are the descendants of those people who participated in that fight that has contributed to Jamaica being today what we call emancipated and independent. Now we still have work to do, because you all know that those terms need more meaning than they have today. We still have work to do. We still have the ancestors' battle to continue. Perhaps with pens and papers, perhaps with our mouths. We won't be pulling guns and things anymore, pray God, although some people seem to be doing that. But we need to be fighting with our pens, with our voices. We need to be going back to look at their spiritual systems, to look at their morals and their values and their ethics. That is for sure. Oh, nyami nyong kompong actually dong pong asasi yawo dieni. Nana oja, nana enframa. Nanasio, 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 nanasio. Asio is the river. Nanasio, nanasio, nanasio. I hate to call you by the name you are called, so I call you Asio, because you are Asio. In the language of Kwaonis people, you are Asio. Your other names are there. We don't know them today. We don't know them today, but we will find out from you what you want to be called, because you can speak. The river has its own spirit, part of the spirit of the Creator God. It can speak. It can tell you what it wants to be called. Spanish River, how insulting, how degrading. How do we continue being enslaved in our minds and our spirits? Is it just the body that we are concerned about? Because we no longer wear chains on our hands, on our feet, on our necks? We think we are free. We are not free until we are free to embrace that which nurtures our spirit, that which makes us of good character, that which makes us walk in peace and harmony and love of each other, that which helps us to share the divine. Let us talk about the Christian people, because I think we have some in the house. The greatest lesson that was taught by the Christ was the lesson of love. That tradition was meant to be very different to ours. It's the people that nowadays mash it up. Because they also came from the same space. There's only one God. There's only one God. But human beings, we have a way, just like all the people that come in our land can tell ourselves for them. We have a way of doing some things and thinking some ways that it not sound. It can't be sound. So today, let us be free to embrace Kwao. Let us embrace the freedoms that Kwao, Queen Grandi Nani, Kojo, and all the freedom fighters of this land have fought for, sweated. There's a way I think of them. And I say, many of them knew they were not going to die. They're not going to live, They knew they were going to continue life in another place. But did that stop them from going out to fight? How much harm did I would go ahead now if say, come back home from war? How many of you would, knowing that your life would be taken, that your life would be a sacrifice, And then we talk about African people not to do human sacrifice. Every war is a sacrifice of human beings. Every single war. Ukraine, Russia, you call them First World War. There's a sacrifice of human beings. And we do not think about that. We do not think about that. We do not think about the sacrifices we make on an everyday basis. And we need, they're invisible. My brother, you could well be right. But we need to make them visible so we can look them in the face. We need to make them visible so we can look them in the face. Make up our minds. Do we want to walk with this or we do not want to walk with this? Where will this take us? Into what kind of world will this guide us? A world of peace, a world of love, a world of good values and morals, where you can live well, look well, eat well, greet your brother with a smile, with love in your heart? Or are we supporting this world where we greet each other with a gun, where we take each other's life? It is not what Kwawu and all our ancestors fought to obtain. They were fighting for the freedom to live in peace, the freedom to govern themselves. And so today I give honor and praise to the ancestors who so boldly and bravely know that today when I go out, I will not, there's a 99% chance I will not walk back home to see my small child. I will not walk back home to see my mother. I will not walk back home to see my father. I will not walk back home to see my wife, my girlfriend, my auntie, my uncle. And yet, they went. And yet, they fought. When we talk about celebrating ancestors, it's not an idle thing for us. It is not an idle thing. It's not words. It is making the effort to have left your house this morning, to have gathered at this place, which is a sacred space for us, because the energy of our ancestors are here. And to sit and talk about it and have our brother talk about the river and Samso Hole. We have put effort, we have put work out there. It's not sit down and cock your ten and say, oh, ancestors, oh, ancestors, oh, ancestors. No, it is a doing. Once you know, you do. That's a teaching of Kwawu's people, the Akan people. Knowing mandates you. And the only thing you can do when you know is to do. I want you to help me to call the names of the ancestors you see here. Call them loudly. Because you know, some of them are still far away. Some of them are still so traumatized. Some of them are still walking too close to the earth space. Let us call them. Could you light the candles, please? We're going to light the candles. Could you light the candle, please? Light the candles. Can anybody want to help to light the candles on the altar? With a match. Look around. Kofi, you know where the matches is. Go get it now. Because one of the things we do is invite these spirits into the light. The light of the source, the light of life, the light of love. We have put water to cool and refresh their spirits. Are there any elders who would like to light? There's matches up there.
This is for you. I really brought this for you. I lost my glasses trying to put it away somewhere in my bag. It's green and speckled.
I'll ask after we finish the libation if anybody has seen. No, we don't. We're not allowed to put other than light and water on this particular altar.
Okay.
But I am grateful that you thought to gift it to the answer. You could probably put it by the bell there. And we'll light it before we leave in the space. Okay.
I kind of brought the whole thing for you. That was fiddling with it over there.
You might have to put it in it and light it. I don't know. There's matches in it. You can use the matches perhaps, so the stick can go into the thing and don't blow so easy. Okay.
farm I left there and came here. So there, you've seen me with them before. Green and speckled. Like, yeah.
Okay. So I'm understanding Nana Enframa, who is the spirit of the wind, is playing with our light, our candles. So we will light those candles in our hearts. Let's each light a candle in our heart. It means that you have to think, you have to concentrate, you have to find your heart. In case you have lost it somewhere, there are many people in this country who do not have hearts anymore. When you kill children, where's your heart? See if you can find yours before it also gets lost. And see if you can light a candle in it for the ancestors. Okay. Can we call the names? You can stay right there. All of you can stay right there. And we can start calling the names. From my right. Who is on the right? Brown and sir. Oh, Mr. Brown, you're the first to be called. Brown and sir. Burke and sir. Caban and sir. Carby and sir. Clark and sir. Come and join. Come and join. Crawford and sir. Campbell and sir. Charles and sir. Crosby and sir. Clayton and sir. Douglas and sir. Dean and sir. Donner and sir. Duncan and sir. Say that for me. Edwards and sir. Hart and sir. Hartley and sir. Henry and sir. Hines and sir. Irving and sir. Lumsden and sir. Sterling and sir. Sutherland and sir. Thompson and sir. Wallen and sir. Wright and sir. Williams and sir. Welch and sir. White and sir. Caesar and sir. Abduba and sir. Adu and sir. Anderson and sir. Ball and sir. Bernard and sir. Brother and sir. McFarlane and sir. Nelson and sir. Pasley and sir. Pink and sir. Rashford and sir. Rose and sir. Shackelford and sir. Coffee and sir. Tomboy and sir. Apollo and sir. Duke and sir. Queen and sir. Pompey and sir. Scipio and sir. Quao and sir. Quao and sir. Quao and sir. Opong and sir. Opong and sir. Opong and sir. Quadro and sir. Quadro and sir. Quadro and sir. Queen Nana. Oh, great Nana.
Zoom.
Pesca de Paucha. Queen Nana and sir. Queen Nana and sir. Queen Nana and sir. Queen Nana and sir.
Zoom.
Afo and sir.
Zoom.
Cupid and sir. Quarantine and sir. How many people are related to these people here? Put up your hand. Lovely. This is what you do. You call the name of your ancestors. Campbell and sir. Rose and sir. Oh, they were called very strongly and beautifully. We give thanks, Thompson, sir. Now I would like to invite. I would like to invite you to call some of your personal ancestors. Have them come and join us. Let's go. Martin, sir. Matty Carolyn, sir. Brown, and sir. And sir. And sir. And sir. Walker, and sir.
Stewart,
and sir. Long, and sir. Herlock, and sir. Mendes, and sir. Any others?
Lane. Lane,
Gross and sir. Lane and sir. Sims and sir. I want you to recognize some of the people who have been nationally recognized for the work they've done in this land. Let's go. Paul Bogle and sir.
yo,
Marcus Garvey and sir.
Comfortachi,
Sam Sharp and sir.
Comfortachi,
Comfortachi and sir. Bustamante and sir. Michael Manley and sir. And his father, Norman Manley, and sir. I give her nod, I give her nod, I give her nod, the G and son.
Bob Marley and sir.
Sam Sharp and sir.
Bob Marley.
Oh God, no, he was the first one. Amy Bailey, Amy Bailey, Amy Bailey.
Yo.
Louise Bennett Coverley and sir.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley and sir. We give Rita Ma.
She know that. Ancestor.
Nana Mi Paucho. Nana, we have
Really
called a
say
name
answer.
that does not need to be called at this place. We ask you, Nana Mi Paucho, not to hear that. Cut that energy. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown has to go. Thank you so much, Mr. Blake. Yes, yes, yes. I will look. No, but I will get it. I will get it from Dr. All right. Thank you. George William Grant, we give
Yo.
thanks today that we have ancestors. We give thanks today because Me Paucho, we're still pouring libation. We're still praying. Can we pray with one heart, one mind, one spirit? Let us join. You see, the strength of the black man is in his collectivity. That's where we are strong. Individually, they can pick us off like you pick mangoes from a tree. Together, we stand as a force. When we join hands, when we join hearts, we are immovable. That is what your ancestors did. That is what my ancestors did. They joined forces. There was no one second guessing. No one going against what Kwao said. No one talking when he was talking because it was too important to hear. It was too important to hear. And they became a force when they joined together like that spiritually, mentally. They became a force to be reckoned with. They became a force of strength. They became unified. They represented what the universal law calls divine oneness. They were one.
Yo.
They were one.
Yo.
We give honor and praise for that understanding that they have left us that legacy. So we also can court strength. We also can court courage. We also can court drummers, young men. It is important that we court all the things we're talking about. I'm not sure where you are talking about or what is it they need to be courting. Perhaps we need to share that. It perhaps is a lot more important than what we're doing here. In the presence of our ancestors today, we ask that we bless our lives, that we bless our lives. I'm not asking for God to bless our lives. I'm not asking for our ancestors to bless our lives. I'm asking for we to bless our lives, but from where will we pull this blessing? We'll pull it from the Almighty Creator God. We'll pull it from our ancestors. Because what they have left us, what God has given us, are the blessings we need to pull on to bless our lives. So many of us are aware that there are blessings all around us, but we don't use them. We don't bless our lives. We don't walk into abundance. We don't walk into gratitude. And these are ways in which we do not bless our lives. We ask that we bless our lives so that we can bless the life of our ancestors. It's a two-way street. We can bless the lives of those who are coming after us. And above all, we can bless the name of God. We can say, Odomankomo Aboadi, as Kwao and many of the ancestors of this land said. We can say Yenking Pong, as you say, because it is the same God. Odomankomo Aboadi, Enyankom Pong, Enyame, Achodejuampong, Amawia, the God who sends the sun to shine on us today. And when it's rain, Amosu. We have the name of God in every one of its manifestation, every single manifestation of God. We can recognize that God. We give praise today to the Spirit, whether that Spirit manifests as a God force, whether that Spirit expresses as a God force in us, the God force in our ancestors. We give thanks for the God force. We give thanks because it is what we should do to bless our lives. We give thanks because it is what we should do to bless the life of others, those in our sphere of influence and those to whom we come in contact. I am honored to be here today. I'm humbled to be here today. I am blessed to be here today. And I'm so blessed to be in your company. Blessed that you are here, because the fact that you're here means you were chosen to be here. Today, the ancestor has chosen to walk with you, has chosen to walk with us, because we are the ones they have brought here today. We give honor and we give praise to all that is, to all that was, to all that has been and will be.
Kose, 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 kose.
In the tradition of Kwaus people, we offer drink to everyone once we pour libation. So if you would like to receive drink, please come. And if you see, she will just cross her hands, right over left, and I pour it on her wrists. Right over left. And you, I'm sorry, but yes, sorry. I'm not authorized to give you a drink when you're standing up. Okay, thank you. Right over left. This means that you approve of these prayers. This means that you're giving permission for these prayers to be lifted. This means you're giving your energy. And you're participating in everything that we're doing right here, right now, for our ancestors. You want more? Okay. Wait, we have people that love this thing? She said, yes, man. You can tell, you know. My sister. You see, we recognize the elders. Oh, and Yasida. Right, this right over left, right. This one on top. Yes. Yes. Thank you all for participation. It's such a respect. It's such a respect that we accept these ways of our ancestors, that we come to know them, and that we practice them even in our own homes. Brother, bless your spirit. You need to take care of yourself, my brother. Good. You see, your ancestors have spoken. Right over left. God bless your spirit. Hello. Who are you?
I am Beate.
You are?
I'm Beate.
And you're from?
Germany.
Germany.
Friesland.
That's far away. Yes. What are you doing in my country?
I live here.
There's a time when you could all come and none of us asked you what you were doing here. Today I'm asking, what are you doing in my country? You live in my country? I don't live in your country. What are you doing in my country?
I live here since
I've visited
10
your
years.
country. 10 years you're in my country. And you've accepted and honored my ancestors.
I do.
Are you sure?
I do. I'm very certain.
Are you sure?
Very, very certain.
Oh, I'm just mimicking the brother there. Yes, my elder. You reached 90 yet? We'll pray for it. We'll pray for it. Let's pray for that. Yes. We'll pray for that.
Okay.
Nothing less.
Nothing less.
Nothing less.
In the name of the invisible hunter.
In the name of the
Yo.
invisible ones and the
Yo.
name of the ancestors.
Yo.
Left over right. And thank you so much. Thank you for participating. Is that everyone? Once I have tasted this drink, that is it. So, Going once, going twice. Yes, you know, it is an interesting in our culture. We say if the priest doesn't do that, the prayers go nowhere. So even as priests, we have to condition ourselves. And this is why sometimes we have some dysfunction of the space because you do this, do this, you can acquire taste. You know? So we have to be very focused. This is not for fun. This is for the spiritual purpose for which it is designed. Okay? Bring a song. The song no start,
Owanium. Owanium. Eyamoti tiamabo aye. Eyamoti yamabo. Eyamoti yamabo aye. Eyamoti yamabo. Eyamoti yamabo aye. Eyamoti yamabo. Eyamoti yamabo aye. Eyamoti yamabo.
in the way of the Akan people, we recognize spirits of nature, spirits who live in the forest. Just now, I was feeling that energy very strongly, like the spirits who are part of nature. They work with medicines. They do a lot of healing work. And that's why I greeted the altar with the rum and we brought that song, because that song celebrates those particular set of spirits. So we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. I have for you today a very, very, very important speaker. And why is he important? He's important because he's bringing knowledge, not because he looks fine, not because he's wearing a beautiful African shirt, but because he brings knowledge to us. There's something I would want to say before he comes. And just going along with what this gentleman had said, the Spring Garden Estate was one of the first sugar plantations in Jamaica. It abutted this river, the sea, and then went all the way back, so and all the way up so. I don't know the exact boundaries, but it is a big plantation. You going to talk about my brother? Okay, because I don't want to. Yes, because I just heard in my head I need to talk about this. So where you're standing even now, the road you drove on to come in, when you walk in that place, you're walking where many ancestors have walked. Not only that, you're walking where many of them have been beaten. You're walking where many of them have been raped. You're walking where many of them have shed blood, justly and unjustly, willingly and unwillingly. You're walking and driving a path our ancestors came to know well, a path of suffering. And yet it was a part and a path of survival, because we stand here today in proud defiance of everything that was done. Everything that was done to have kept them down. I poured libation with rum today. One of the things I tell you, I love to pour libation with rum. I love to pray with it, because I remember when the times when my ancestors would have been beaten to a frazzle for putting a drop, a touch of rum to their cheeks. Today I'm praying with it. I'm praying with that stuff, and I'm honoring them with it. They can have as much as they want, because there was a time when they would suffered so badly for that. Do not forget, this Spring Garden Estate was one of the first sugar plantations in this country we call Jamaica. They shipped sugar to the British. It is even said that in 1728 or thereabouts, that this particular man, who was British but born in Jamaica, took his vessel and came up the Spanish River, destroying dwellings along the way. Whose dwellings do you think he was destroying? He was British. It was white. That's why I have to ask you if you want my ancestors before I give you a drink. You understand me? Good. And I thank you for understanding. Because some people, their spirit are so riled up, they can't understand that. They can't understand that I now have a gatekeeping duty to do that I will always have to do. That I will always have to do. And sometimes even as well as we keep those gates, the cows still get out. The goats still run away. The chicken jump across the fence and gone. Things happen. Things happen because this is life. Life happens. I give thanks today for the knowledge of this space. I give thanks today to know that we can walk into this space and walk on this ground and attempt to heal this ground, because atrocities were done upon this ground. This ground is not prepared to accept the blood of human beings who are beaten for no good reason. Is that why God created the earth? The earth is our mother. She bleeds, yes, but to have blood spilt upon her, innocent blood, she also needs healing. We stand on her today and we ask her to accept our prayers for her healing, to accept our words for her healing. We ask the trees, the wind, all those who witnessed what happened on this plantation to join us in a journey of healing. And we ask the spirits of our ancestors to forgive us for not have started earlier, much earlier, to pray for their spirits and to participate in this journey of healing with them. We are here today. I'm sure we're not the first to come. So we're joining hands and heart with whoever has come before. We're building this energy of healing for our ancestors, for ourselves. We are one of the prime beneficiaries when we do work for our ancestors. We are among the prime beneficiaries when we bring our ancestors' spirit and invite them into the light. Because as it is before, above, so it is below. What we do for them, we do for us. Because they also do for us as we do for them. And so it is a journey, it is a partnership, and it's a wonderful way to live. And on that note, let us speak with Dr. Goss to see what he has to say about this great big Maroon war that lasted for so many people, so many years, but that was put to a stop right here at this Spanish River. We are honoring today the spirit of this river for having participated in that. Dr. Goss.
I say what in the Twi, am I correct, in the Twi, or three language. Remember Matthew? All right. All right. And also in the Akan language, Akwaba. So Akwaba to my brothers and sisters. It's a pleasure to be speaking here today. And I must tell just a little footnote here that Fufaya called me, I think about last week or something like that. And when she mentioned the Spanish River, I just said yes. I mean, I have a lot of things we were doing, but I had to come. And it's a privilege for me because one of my books that I have done is on a man called Alexander Bedward, which you all know about and heard about. And that there's something about the river and Africans that provide a kind of mystique. Because for Bedward, right, that Hope River, and the same story that Mr. Blake Brown told us today about that particular mermaid who actually guarded that one at Hope, the Hope River, is a similar story here. And it's part of the success of our African brothers and sisters, that they relied on nature, right, and nature provided for them and made them successful. So it's a pleasure to be here to speak to you today. And I won't be long, because I've been standing for a while, but there are three things I want to say to us today as we think about the success of Kwao and the warriors of the Maroon community. I want to call the first point I want to make about creativity. One of the reasons why that part of battle is important, and there's a context here now then, that in the Leeward Maroons, the British had already found a way to kind of infiltrate the kind of leeward Maroons. And stories are various as to the reasons. One of the stories that Kojo's daughter went and gave them information, other kind of stories. But the British by this time now had kind of found their way to kind of have a control, or way to control Kojo and the leeward Maroon. And probably that's one of the reasons they said that Kojo, realizing now that he never had much more wiggle room, in a sense, agreed to probably have that treaty. One of the many reasons. So, having now their sights set on the control of the leeward Maroons, the big problem now was the windward Maroons. They thought now that when they destroyed Nanny Town, they would have controlled Grand Nana and all the others. But to their surprise and the creativity of the African people, they found new home in this area. And the British was mysteriously puzzled because they never had a foothold on the Eastern Maroons, as they are now able now to move towards the Western Maroons. But there's also something important again why this battle is important, because the planters around here started to petition the government that we have to find some way to control the Eastern Maroons. Why? Because they're losing money big time. Right? Their farms are being raided, their guns are being stolen, ammunition gone, their production levels are dropping. And you know, in business, if your production levels are dropping, you're in trouble. And so they petition the government. And that's part of the reasons then why the party leaders here, British Lieutenant George Cannon and someone else named Sixties, right, were sent into this particular area, right, to see how they could now bring these rebels under control. And this important river and the surroundings provided them with the perfect opportunity for resistance. But I want to make the point that the reason why they could not put their hands on the control of the Eastern Maroons was because of the creativity of our ancestors, who understood that once you love nature, nature love you back. Nature will protect you. Nature provide you food and your clothes. Right? And the secrets to survive. And that's part of the reason for their success, the creativity of the Eastern Maroons. When you read the account of the soldiers who wrote impartially their interaction with the Maroons, it is clear that they were amazed at the military skill, the genius of the Maroon warriors, how they're able to utilize the rugged terrain of the interior to their advantage, and to constantly outsmart and outmaneuver the British. The creativity of our ancestors is renowned, as scholars all across the world who have written on the Maroons talk about the creativity of these people, how significant it was. For example, they were able to develop intelligence, an intelligence system, even with the assistance of enslaved people and the plantations. So, although people on the plantation were enslaved, they were able to get information and they were able to track anybody coming anywhere. Right? That is amazing, an international network of espionage where they can track people coming in. Another thing they talk about as well, how they're able to source guns and ammunition. And people who don't make them, who can buy them, but they had storehouses of ammunition and gunpowder and guns. Because they were able to raid the plantation, take away the guns and ammunition. Right? Amazing. I mean, I was even amazed at within some place where sometimes they even planted sticks in the ground and carried it across so they could put their rifles on it. So the British see the sticks, they don't know what the sticks are about, you know. Right? But they planted these sticks all across the place so that when they're ready, they run and just get on a stick, point, bam, 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 and run again and move. This is high-level war. High-level war. And why? Because these people are from a civilized societies where they were fighting wars before they came here. So they were no novices. who didn't know anything. And they talk about the creativity of these people. And one of the biggest creativity that people talk about is this thing right here about the falls. And if you read it, you see carefully that this part of falls, sometimes the British shock the men to the falls and say, yes man, we have him now, they can't go nowhere now, we corner them. Only to find out what? Them just disappear in the falls. And them can't understand how come we track them and we can't find them. It's long after they found out now that behind the falls was a cave. A cave that the man them know the cave already and they strip to one side and then go to get them gun ammunition. So while they are there, dumbfounded what to do next. Next thing they hear is what? Gunfire. Gunfire. How could this be? And so the guys who write in these journals, they were amazed at the artistry and the skill and the creativity of our African people. And we give them thanks today for their amazing technology. So they would track the Maroons. And one of the most popular stories told, right, how this particular river changed the nature of the Maroon War. And I'm going to read the story to some extent. He said that two of these British leaders, that the names are there, Can Common, and I don't think the other name of the other soldier, the other, his second in command. Thickness, right, thank you. They were asked now then, you have to go find Kwawa and his men and Nani and his men, because that's the only thing we can't solve yet. We don't know, we can't work that one out. We kind of have a way to control Leeward now. We know what people are concerned about now. So these men decided that, all right, they got reinforcement and they decided, why, this is it now. We are finding them now. But they didn't know that Kwawa and his men already knew that about the mission and decided, all right, we are going to see what happens now. As my brother said, the invisible hunter was on the target. So you want to do to the first thing they tricked the man, they made them know. The man they made sure said that they saw a village. But this part of village that they saw now, is where they hunt and fish from and store their reserves. It's not where them live. So when the British saw it, they said, yes, we find them now. Yeah, man, find them now. When they reach here now, they made them gone. But here what them do now, them leave behind like a pot and the fire, So the idea is that what? We not gone too far, So we say, yeah, man, we'll find them now, And so them walking faster, going faster. Then they saw smoke now in another place and they say, yes, man, see them there now. When they reach there, they're not there. Then they see dogs barking, and they start leaving some little trail on the place, to say that them just over there, so. So the British walk faster to catch them. And then walk, till they're tired. And up until this time, they can't find one Maroon. They don't see one. By this time now, you see, it's a trap, The invisible hunter said a trap. Because by this time now, night coming, rain falling, mud, them into mud, them slow down, them have food and thing at the back of them thing, Well, after the Africans who carry that for them. And them realize that them lost. They don't know where they are. In trying to track cover these men, them lost. Rain falling, them can't move. And call these men just say, yeah man, watch what happened now. By this time they don't know that Corn's men were behind them. No, they were before them, But Corn's men hid. So they're behind them now. And then they sing to them and say, yeah man, them coming man, them must slow down, them coming man. So Corn's men just wait for the trap to set. Right? But this time the British say, why we lost, we don't know where we are. But they say we know one place, which is the Spanish River. Let's see if we can find the Spanish River. If we can find the Spanish River, we just follow the coast of the bank and go back home. Not knowing that exactly where they wanted them to be. So they now found the banks of the Spanish River. Not realizing now by this time that they were surrounded by Maroons. And when when the signal was given, gunfire, bam, 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 bam. People start drop left, right, and center. Then people run at the river, right? It is said that them try to find smoke. Cause you know when the gun, when they fire the gun, like a smoke will go up, right? Them can't see them, you know. All them can't see. That's they say like a smoke, then fire right as a bomb. But the Maroons are all over the place. They can't see them. And you don't know. In all that distress now, them gone on the other side of them too. So while they're there firing, bam, 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 right, and a duck and bullet and all that. All of a sudden them here behind them what? Gunfire! Man run, them drop everything and run, swim out everything, those who survived, a lot of them died. Right? And it was so mysterious that they said they climb, they drop everything and they run, they confused, they upset, and they're able now to go to safety. And all you could hear behind them now is the choir of these men celebrating at the river. Up to now, them don't see one Maroon yet. Them don't see one Maroon yet. And it is said later on that it is said that cow said that it's only one person got injured. And it's him, because somehow some gunfire, it is said, came back and somehow gave him a little cut right here. None of them died. The Maroons died. A lot of the British died. It was so bad that the captain decided that nobody going to bed until they way up in a mountain, so that at least them know them safe up the mountain, because them don't know where the Maroons are. That changed the Maroon War, because they realized now then that they're going to use now the next policy now then to try to end the war. They now started to send men all over the place to go tell these men we want peace. By this time, they had signed the treaty with Kojo. And they started to tell men, to send men to all these men, we want peace. Now we know that Nanny was not so much for it. I just said that Nanny actually killed one of the men who came to bring peace. But eventually, Kwao decided that yes, he was interested in peace, and they signed the peace treaty. The question I have then, why would Kwao then and his men sign a peace treaty when they knew that they humiliated the British? And I know the British don't know where they are. Why would they now sign a peace treaty? My answer is that Kwao and his men realize there's a time in life for everything. Time to fight, time to make love, and time to have children, and time to establish your culture and civilization. I want to argue then that the reasons Kwao, in a position of strength, signed a peace treaty, because Kwao was telling his men, say, look here now, we don't know bush negro or no wild negro, as we've been described in journals that the British wrote about us. We are people who love to live in a hill. We utilize nature, respect nature, but we are people like anybody else. We are from a second civilization. We had religion, we had culture, and we land. Because we are nobody if we don't have land. How we bury ancestors? How we immortalize our ancestors? How we pay libation of our ancestors? They need to have a sacred place. We need land, and we need peace. So Kwao didn't sign the treaty because he was forced to sign it. He signed the treaty because he knew that it is time now to build their civilization. Have we now destroyed the British? Embarrass them. He knew that respect you. It's time now you approach us as men, real men with a culture to show the world. And as one songwriter, the Babylonian, said, how can we sing our song in a strange land? We need to settle down. I think that's the reason, brethren, why Kwao eventually signed that peace treaty. Even though Nanny so much never really like it. Right? Went along with it, never like it. But that's the reason I think she signed the treaty. Because as far as Korea was concerned, it's time to build our civilization. No, I don't want to make the point, brethren. I don't want to feel, I don't want to feel so that by signing the treaty, it gave them the right to be human beings. All they want is formal recognition. They know already that they run the place. Right? This is our home. You come, you are the invaders. But that treaty was meant just to be formal, just to formalize the thing, arrangement. Respect us as we respect you. Respect us as we respect you. Allow us to live our lives in our own way. That's what the treaty was about. So the very contentious thing in the treaty, I don't think for the Maroon people it was any big significance for them. Because all they said that, look here now, we are human beings. It is time now to settle down and build and establish our civilization because we are creative people. Anywhere we go, we can make something out of nothing. And that's why we say what we say in Jamaica, we little, but we talawa. And it's time to show the world about our culture. Yeah, man, about our people. It's time to leave something for our grandchildren. It is time now to be able now to set up schools in a formal way, right, and train their people in peace and prosperity. That was why Kwao signed the peace treaty. Because it's time now to move on to the next phase of life. But I want to make a third point, Bridget, and I won't keep it much longer. I want to make a third point. You see? I want to make a third point. That we honor these men and women for their bravery. Kwao and his men were honorable men. These are men who, when they say yes, they mean yes. When they say no, they mean no. These are not men when them shake and make a oath with blood. You back down after what you say. These are men when they say, boy, we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Them don't know about people who can backtrack and them word and commitment. These are honorable men. What they didn't probably foresee is my third point about criminality. Criminality. Right? I want to make that point quite clearly that when you sign a treaty with blood oath, a serious something, it is sacred, it is honorable. But here what now? They sign treaty with men and women who have no honor, who word them eat nothing, none at all. Right? We must never forget the lessons of the past. One thing we must never forget about this thing, that they meant, the Maroons meant well. You sign treaty with people who you think would treat you equal. But these are not men who hold on to anything valuable in terms of your word is your bond. Right? Because you know in African societies, land and something you said, you don't sell land. You pass land down to your family so everybody can live and eat a food. The Europeans don't like that. They never come here for that either. They come here to make money, capital, and for criminality we have to resort to it because we're going to make money. And that is part of the problems little later on, brethren. They trust in Maroon sign treaty with persons who are criminals and who will change fraudulently, alter any legal document, or have their lawyers question the legality of sacred documents. That will happen afterwards, you know. That will happen afterwards. And me hear the Jamaican government to make some like foolish error to have try to create division. Right? Because the colonial people pass it on to the new colonial people. And we have to be careful of these criminals. We today must not forget how the British changed the terms of the treaties. And on the side of the treaty was another trick to control a sovereign people. The Europeans have shown over and over again that a peace treaty only means a cessation of war to use other strategies to control. If you can't catch Harry, you catch him short. By the hook and by the crook, or by any means necessary, they will try to control you. if not physical, then intellectual, they tell you you're done. You know, no headspace. Yeah, actually, that you know. So when you believe so you're done, so no headspace, you fall right into their hands. And if not, they promise you something nice. Any trick they can get. Now, there's a store in St. Kitts and Nevis that I don't know if you've ever heard about it. There's a place in St. Kitts and Nevis they call Bloody River. And you know what happened? The Kalinaga people in St. Kitts and Nevis fought the British. And just like the Maroons, they couldn't defeat the Kalinaga people. And so they decided to have a peace treaty. You know what the British people did? And the French did? Once the treaty signed, them sent for reinforcement. Yeah, man, and so the people enjoy themselves as we have peace now, can get on with their life. Only to know that by tomorrow morning now, they will attack again. This time they were unprepared. And it is said they killed so many people that day and threw them down the river that for days the river was filled with blood. And the people call it today Bloody River. To remember the heroes in St. Kitts and Nevis who died at the hands of the British and the French. Because these are honorable people who mean you their word in their bond. I'm making the point that we must not forget our history. Honorable men and women whose words could be trusted. One historian, Carrie Robinson, writes, the moment the Maroons ceased to oppose Imperial Britain, the noble purpose which had governed their existence had started to decay, and the colonial net which they had so heroically avoided began to entangle them. What they thought was peace and safety, right, is in sense now the marginalization of the indigenous people whose idea for peace was not what eventually turned out. So it's no wonder then that musicians such as Burning Spear and Chronic remind us of thieving Columbus, and the British capturing, and Chronic remind us of the British capturing land. We must understand the criminality of the colonial powers. I'm making the point, brethren, because we today now live in what we call the neo-colonial world. That not change much, you know. The British passed it down to people who dress up in a jacket and tie. And businessmen like the planters who want them pound of flesh, who want land, sacred land. They don't care about sacred land. They want land to plant and make money, live overseas like king and queens, while people here suffer like dog. Our colonial father left a legacy of criminality to men and women who look like you and I, and handed the baton of thievery to them. Watch them. We must never forget our past. Stand tall and proud that we little but Tarawa, we are creative people from a creative culture. We have a proud culture. And from second civilization, and we deem the right to live free with dignity. But we must never forget the legacy of criminality done to us and still continues today. Walk good, brothers and sisters. Walk good. And may our ancestors guide us on our journey. Greetings.
May I ask you,
I don't think that presentation deserved the kind of applause I just hear. Because that was just really that was more than history. That was our story. That was our story. Lots of teaching. You can't say you learn nothing today. You can't leave here like when you come. You have to go away with a mandate because knowledge mandates us and you now know more. I want to comment on two things, Mr. Goss. I don't know if you will consider. There's a part in it, they said, our brilliant lady there, Nana, that she did something to the man who was bringing peace.
Yeah.
That man never bring peace, you know, sir. In case him did come beg for peace.
Come on, we know.
We have to get
Yeah.
our ancestors' history right.
Yeah.
Them never intend to bring no peace to we.
no.
He came to beg.
Strategy.
Yeah, so if you can do the
That's
little
why they kill him.
modification.
Yes.
Because, exactly.
Yes.
He might come for beg for peace, but them never bring peace.
No.
Them never ever brought peace. So, how that go? How that go? The other thing I want to point out, and for the benefit of us here, because some of those don't make the connections. Do you know that there are many other places where the British use the same strategy of fighting against people? And when they say they can't win, they say, okay, all right then, let's sign a treaty. Can I do the British accent? I can't do it. Let's sign the treaty. Because they can't win. Brazil. No, our brethren and sister them in Haiti was a different set of people that, you know, them said to them, go to hell, we not sign no treaty. But here what? If you stop, we stop. Then come to an agreement. If you stop, we'll stop. We're not signing a treaty. We're not signing no treaty. But there are many others of us who saw value. As you say, 84 years of war, it'll hold up the progress of the people, you know. It start hold up progress, start influence some things. You can imagine 84 years, that's some of them don't reach that yet. People live that generations. And so we can't just take it lightly that we people. We never succumb, you know. Just to get this right. Because people talk about the Maroon treaties. The Maroon treaties celebrated the victory of our people. Now, because other people were devious, especially the one of them decides that them want peace so badly, then we'll write up what the treaty say. There's still a lot of deviousness that went into them. You can't blame our ancestors for that. A lot of deviousness went into them. But as Dr. Goss says, it was time. Because there's a time for everything, a season. And it was time for these people to do whatever they could to continue life in a more natural and, God be praised, normal way. Because now they were given the recognition that you don't mess with us. We can fight, you can fight. We're human beings alike, and in this place, we're all God's children. But if you want to tap into that warrior aspect, that's your choice. We're not going to go there with you, but we will respond. We're not going to start it, but we will respond. We'll be happy to finish it for you. So let us not think that, you know, this was a thing in isolation. This was a strategy of these people, an evil strategy to get what they want. We're going to have some more drummings because, you know what, there are some songs that are among the Charleston Maroons, and we look at them as warrior songs. Songs that spoke to that time of the fighting, spoke to the, you know, hearing about the war, spoke to some of the strategies they use in the war. Dr. Goss talked about how they left the fire burning. There's a song that sings about that. Because, you know, we document everything as African people in songs and stories. Our spoken stories and our song stories. We document everything that way. We never have no cell phone. So we listened and we remembered. The memories were better then. But this is, oh, well, I can go home and watch it. No, we're not building memory. We're actually destroying our brain cells. Okay? We're destroying, not helping. Try remember. Practice to remember. That's how we get long life and good memory at long life. And when we get Alzheimer's and all them other things there. We don't have those. All right? So try remember. But these songs are part of the history and culture of the Charleston Maroon. And we're going to hear some of them right now.
Jan Jan Crow, Mama Siano, me kill one co. Jan Jan Crow, Mama Siano, me kill one co. Jan Jan Crow, Mama Siano, me kill one co. Jan Jan Crow. Jan Jan Ko, Mama Siano, me kill one ko.
I don't know what he's about to ride on. Go, yeah.
know say you fit and wow.
Here Maroon a come on.
January,
Here Maroon a come in.
January,
Here Maroon a come on.
January. If you never know say you fit and wow.
Here where I love.
January,
Here where I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January. If you never know say you fit and wow.
Here Maroon a
Boko, boko.
Here Maroon a come in.
January,
Here Maroon a come in.
January. If you never know say you fit and wow.
Here I love.
January, why down the hill, January, why down the hill, January. If you never know say you fit and wow.
Here Maroon a come on.
January, here Maroon a come, January, here Maroon a come, January. If you never know say you fit and wow.
I hear you are I love.
January,
You are I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January. If you never know say you fit, hey,
Here Maroon a come in.
January,
Here Maroon a come in.
January. If you never know say you fit January,
Here where I love.
January,
Me say here where I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January. If you never know say you fit January,
Here Maroon a come on.
January,
Here Maroon a come in.
January,
Here Maroon a come on.
January. If you never know say you fit January,
Here where I love.
January,
Here where I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January. If you never know say you fit January,
Here Maroon a come on.
January,
Here Maroon a come in.
January,
Here Maroon a come on.
if you never know say you fit January,
I hear you are I love.
January,
Here where I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January.
If you never know say you fit and warrow.
You need more.
Here where I love. Here where I live.
January,
Here where I love.
January. If you never know say you fit, yeah, Maroon.
Maroon gun, oh Maroon gun, Maroon gun, oh Maroon gun, Maroon gun, but we no gun yet.
Maroon gun,
Maroon gun, but we no gun yet. Maroon gun, Maroon gun, oh Maroon gun, Maroon gun, oh Maroon gun, Maroon gun, but we no gun yet.
Maroon no gun,
Maroon gun, but we no gun yet. Maroon no gun, Maroon gun, oh Maroon, Maroon gun, oh.
give me that one, give me that one, yeah.
Maroon let it hot
Vampire Maroon gun,
Maroon let it hot vampire Maroon gun.
all right,
Oh Maroon gun, oh Maroon gun. Woo! It's a
Ilililebo, ilililebo, ilililebo. Jamaica. Bongo John. Bongo Johnny. Bongo John. Bongo Johnny. Bongo John. Bongo Johnny. Bongo Johnny. Marshall Donny. Marshall Donny. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Marshall Donny. Marshall Donny. Yeah, yeah. Over.
We give thanks, we give praise to the ancestors. We do it through their children, who today are drumming in their way. They're not up there alone. The ancestors are walking with them, drumming with them, talking with them, intuiting them, tell them how to go. We want to give thanks. There's a brief conversation that I would like to have, and it talks about Sankofa. The theme of this conference is Sankofa and the healing of indigenous Maroon peoples, cultures, and lands, perhaps not in that order. However, I want to bring some small things to your attention, and it would be very nice if you could all stay and hear some of these things. Many people know Sankofa as an Adinkra symbol in the language, the Adinkra language of the Akan people, who are Kwaus people. As a Adinkra symbol, people often interpret it something along the lines of, do not be afraid to go back to fetch what you need now, to process, to work on, to create a sustainable, solid future. And that in its essence is correct. But on an everyday basis, how do we look at the teachings of Sankofa? And I'm going to invite you to look at 3 areas where Sankofa is very present. And it's the area of responsibility. Nana Sankofa as a deity is a teacher, a historian, a great speaker, among other things. That deity has taught us much about 3 areas that I want to talk about now, the first being responsibility. If your ancestors had said they were going to fight, and they didn't go to fight, would we be honoring them today? And so the teachings of Sankofa talks about responsibility. To do, interpreted in this way, to do as you say you are going to do. And there's a way when Nana Sankofa comes, when he manifests in our space. He says, I am a responsible Busum. I do what I say I am going to do. I am introducing that to you as an aspect of Sankofa, not just because it is an aspect of Sankofa, because all of us have a Sankofa journey. And all of us can benefit from these teachings on our Sankofa journey. Each one of us has the responsibility to look at our past life and all that has influenced it, all that is engaged as part of it. To look at that now, to see what is in this now space, to put those together and see what you will put as that, we'll talk about that third part, as a third part, your future. See how you're going to craft a future based on what is present in your present, what you can take from your past that will inform a future that is workable, that's sustainable, that puts you in prosperity, financial prosperity, mental prosperity, social prosperity. And so that's a very important teaching because it speaks to commitment. It speaks to honor. because you become dishonorable if you keep not doing what you say you're going to do. It speaks to a lack of integrity, because you lose integrity in that process as well. And so, very, very important, when we talk about the teachings of Sankofa, we are talking about these kinds of everyday ways of living, to live as a responsible person, simply to do what you say you're going to do. Another teaching of Sankofa of Nana Sankofa that I'd like to share with you is that of humility. And for us, humility is not subservience. Humility is knowing exactly where you are in life, how you are juxtapositioned against everything else in your life, and to act accordingly. When we know, for example, that we are people of integrity, our ancestors were people of integrity, we can humbly walk in integrity. But humbly does not mean you don't hold your head up, and you don't celebrate, and don't you present yourself and show up looking like you are a person of integrity. Humility is the knowledge that supports you to walk in truth of who you are. It supports you in finding your identity and being able to say, this is who I am. Because of my ancestors, I carry this, I carry that, I carry the other. Gifts, attributes, character traits. And then you are humble. You have no need to be anything but humble, because you know who you are. You know who you are. Another great teaching of the great Nana, deity Nana Sankofa, is that of respect. And oftentimes he says humility and respect are married. He says humility and respect are married. The Akan people, and Nana Sankofa is also part of the Akan system of deities, pantheon of deities. Nana Sankofa talks about respect in this way. We respect each other because, based on the Akan teaching, God put a little bit of himself in everything he created. When you disrespect my sister here, you're disrespecting God. You're disrespecting her God self. How do you walk around and disrespect people if each and every one of us has that divine energy within? Recognize that divinity resides first here, granted to us by the Almighty Creator. Odumonkomo Boadi, Yenking Pong, and Yami and Churi Dompong. How do we then turn around and disrespect if God has put a part of his spirit in this human being, this beautiful sister? How do you walk and call her dirty? Is God dirty? How do you walk and call her this and that and the other? She cannot be that. She has God's spirit in us, in her, and all of us in us. Now, some of us are choosing to walk out of that. Some of us are making choices to be otherwise. But it is not advised. It's not advised, because it's a path to destruction. When we start disrespecting, that is when we start losing value for life. That is when we start losing value for each other as human beings, participating in life, sharing life on this place we call the earth. That's when we start losing our own sense of self. And think about it. If you continue to use your sense of self, you continue to lose your dignity, your pride, your integrity. Then you can look at another human being and take their lives, because it has no value, because yours has none. Your life has no value, and therefore you cannot see that another life has value. So Nana Sankofa walks with these teachings. He embraces these teachings, and he encourages us to embrace these teachings every day. That wasn't a complicated conversation. No. But it's straight from the heart of Akan spirituality, because it's straight from one of the deities, Nana Sankofa, who brings these teachings and keeps reminding us. So when we talk about healing, that's what we're talking about. When we talk about healing, we're talking about taking the responsibility for our healing and doing as we say we're going to do. If we say we're going to eat well and we're going to cut the fast food out, do it. Take responsibility for it. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're going to walk in humility, find out what humility looks like for you and walk in it every day. Because humility has also to do with making sure you're of good character, seeking those attributes of good character. If you can't have good character, how can you be in humility? It can't make sense. It doesn't add up. And respect. Respect. None of all of this happens without respect. Today we came here as a sign of respect to our ancestors, as a sign of respect to this energy that we call the river. It has spirit. God created it. It has spirit. That river has a spirit. And so we come here, we're not throwing dirty things in it. We're not putting waste in it. We're giving it praise. We're praying that it will be kept clean, that nobody will come and, but if it does, we have to clean it. That's respect. Respect for nature. Right now we're destroying all that is around us and we don't realize we're destroying ourselves. Because nature is a part of us and we are a part of nature. So what are we destroying? All we're doing is destroying our own selves. And so that respect is a life principle. Respect keeps you alive. If you see a lion coming towards you and you think you're bold and brave and yes, yeah, respectfully, my brother, I am sorry to have ventured in your space. Yes, it can keep you alive, can't it? It's about your life. Greet him as a brother. Talk to his spirit and get out of there as fast as you can. Don't be foolish now. Because Nana Sankofa doesn't teach us to be foolish. He teaches us to walk with wisdom. But on the way, on the path to wisdom, responsibility, respect, humility. As we are about to close today, because we've had a wonderful visit here with the Spanish River, we have two small items, I think, to take care of before we have some more drumming and dancing. African spirituality and the people of Kwao do not do things without rituals and protocols. Now, this Kwao Day celebration is already a ritual all by itself because we've been doing it every year at this time, June 23rd. It is by itself a ritual. However, we do incorporate other rituals in that to make it even more powerful. One of the responsibilities we have in venerating our ancestors is to pray for their spirit, to pray for the spirit of our ancestors. I'm going to ask everybody up there, sir, man, woman, boy, and girl, to come closer as we close with a small ritual that allows us to pray for the spirits of our ancestors. The man sit down and me I say, get up. Can you imagine? May we invite you to join us, beautiful ladies? Come brighten up the place with your smiles. And look how nicely I asked. Thank you. I know niceness gets you very far, you know. Everybody, can we come down? We just have a closing ritual. Then we're going to have some more drumming for the ancestors by the Charleston Maroon drummers. I mean, I hear them get a good clap from family. Not that we clap. We say, mo, 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 mo. That's what their can people do. And them other people do the clap. Come, everybody. Mo, 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 mo. Or we say, why, idea? You have done a good thing.
Why idea?
So let's come. Come closer. Everybody run, come, run, come. Plenty things down here, so run, come. You will see on this altar that we have some eggs. What does eggs symbolize to you? Anybody? What does egg symbolize? The cosmos, the cosmic egg. There is one theory that says the earth was birthed from the cosmic egg. That's right. So what does that mean? What else does the eggs mean? What else do they symbolize? You're too jealous. Listen, you know, I'm going to else. Listen to me. Hey, yeah, you read too much. No, don't stop. What does the future? All right. What else does it symbolize? Life. Fertility. Life. In all its past, present, and future state, life. About the future. Eggs represent life. Eggs represent life in more ways than one. When you look at this egg, can you tell where it begins? Can you tell where it begins? Can you tell where it ends? And so like life, it is eternal. It has no beginning, it has no end. That's an egg, that's life. There are ways in our culture that we use eggs for many different things because it represents life. And today I want to invite us, not singly, not one. We don't do the one thing. We're African people. We're in togetherness and collectiveness. The individual only survive to be part of the exists only to be part of the collective. So I want you to make some little groups, and you're going to take this egg and you're going to put some prayers on it. Think of your life. Think of your ancestors' life. Think about the life that, along with the legacy of your ancestors, you are today crafting for the future. Put some prayers on this egg. Put some prayers on this egg. So what is one of the other things we say is a source of life? Water. And so we're going to pray on these things, eggs, and then what we're going to do, we're going to give it to the source of life. And ask the source of life, not just to bless it, but to manifest our prayers. Help us to manifest our prayers for us. Remember, so you have to take responsibility for your prayer too, you know. Because you have to look to see when your prayers are being fulfilled. You have to help to fulfill your prayers. Now go out there and pray for reach halfway tree, and then you sit down and go to a street, go see if you can see a bus. I got to halfway tree. No, so you want to go to Kingston and tell it as you, so you want to go Kingston, plus help you. And then you go out there, so go see, stand up. No, you have to help fulfill your prayers. But you get a lot of help from the universe. You get a lot of help from the God being. You get a lot of help from your own spirit. And so I want us to take these eggs, small groups, pray hard. Pray hard, because we need to change our country. We need many changes. And when you're finished, give it to the water. Ease it into the water. And ask the source of life to bless it and manifest it. Help you to manifest it. Okay? Let's go. Who's going to get some eggs? So when you get an egg, get a group of people with you. Get a group of people to you when you get an egg. Get a group with you. Nobody should be left out. Hi, thank you, little one. Go. Who's going to go with you? Get a group of people with you. We're black people. We're black people. We are strong when we're collective. We are strong when we're together. When our prayers go together, God must hear we. What are you talking about? Get a group with you. Get a group with you. A coming sister, you stand up there a little while. Sorry. Yeah. Get a group of more than 2, more than 3 if you need to. But everybody, we're going to pray some prayers. I have 1 egg left. This little guy should be a powerful prayer smart, you know. Not true? You see? Me not tell lie. God bless you. Please guide the prayers strongly. Before you go to the river, don't rush go to the river. When you finish, just wait. Where's my paper there? Give it back to me if you. You are keeping it safe. Yes. You can. The group can decide how you want to do it. But it's collective prayers. This is where we are strong, as a collective.
I'm with all the ladies, so you this ladies decide.
What a pretty young lady.
This is true. Remember
Here's
Drew?
the baby. That's her baby.
Oh my
You
gosh,
loved him,
yes!
Donald
Now
and
that I
called
put
you
on
on
my
the
coat,
phone.
now that I put on my glasses, I was thinking your face looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. But I'm like,
My guest invited him to come, and so here we are. So we're going to do a collective.
ancestors know what
Yeah, ancestors know what they're doing.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You didn't know she was going to be here.
No.
You knew she was here because she found you.
Right, right. And then me and
She
from
brought us to
from it.
this circle.
Uh,
Yeah, but me and him different. From
yeah,
we
man.
two are mutual friends.
Yeah, man. I'm falling like a virgin, man.
Wow.
I'm always I tell him about my
All right,
Maroon.
Mama Fire. All Mama
Yes,
Fire
and
there.
we.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mama Fire. Big time. Yeah, Mama Fire, man.
Our smoothies are going to be sold for these filmmakers right here. So the circle is getting wider and wider. The circle is getting closer.
I saw a couple in there that is.
Yeah, I saw them.
Everybody for so powerfully participating in this ritual. We're still just waiting for a few people to be complete so that we can continue. From Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio. From Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio. From Freja Mamie, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Mamio, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamie, from Freja Manumara, from Freja Mamio. Ladies and gentlemen, I must thank you for coming today. It was really very, very, very special. You made it so awesomely special. Venerating our ancestors is the job of each and every one of us, but when we do it collectively, it becomes so much more powerful, so much more meaningful. It just touches our hearts in so many, many, many ways. And so I am grateful to you for coming today to join me in celebrating our ancestors. And I pray that you are also grateful for the opportunity to have joined with us all here to have celebrated these ancestors. These ancestors have done a tremendous job of putting us on the path that we are now. We cannot go each day, greeting each day without remembering what they went through so we can have what we have today. We give thanks. Our final group is now completed their prayers and giving their prayers to the river. I would like to close today. We will close today with a little bit more drumming, the Charleston drummers, because we have set the program that way. But before that, I'd like you all to participate in a prayer that I will read for you, and it's a prayer for the spirit of ancestors. This is to close this ritual in which we've just participated. And so I will say it, and you can just say it after I have done so. We can demonstrate. So please participate. I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
That they may find rest.
That they may find rest.
That they may find peace.
That they may find peace.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
That they may find comfort.
That they may find comfort.
That they may find joy.
That they may find joy.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
That we may find each other.
That we may find each other.
That I might find life.
That I might find life.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
I pray for the spirit of my ancestors.
that they may find family, that we may find home. It remains for me to invite you to visit the Meccawater property next door to see the cotton tree, which was spoken about very powerfully. You're also invited to a short walk on the property up to a cave that sits on that property. It is not yet fully established whether that cave was used by the Taino people or our African ancestors, but it was used by some of them. And it would be interesting when we find out what position it held on the estate that was here those many, many, many years ago. So I invite you. Mr. Hilton is your host because he owns that property right now. Mr. Ayman Meccawater Hilton, Mr. Danny Hilton, I don't see him, I don't hear him, but he's in the car. But please feel free to join, and Mr. Brown Blake Maroon can also assist you in visiting that property if you so desire. After the drumming here, which will only be a short while, we will regather in the Asafo Yard in Charlestown at 2:30. We'll have a wonderful program of entertainment. We have Pam Hall performing. We have Padam. We have Akin Sanya. We have Dr. Marvin George presenting. He's standing right here with me. And Miss Lee. I don't see Miss Lee as yet. And we're going to be honoring, if you like, Louise Bennett thing, we're going to be doing some Louise Bennett. Remember, we called her when we greeted the ancestors. So I'm sure she's going to be very present while her poetry is being done. So we give honor and we give praise. If there's anybody I've left off, please forgive me. I will say see you all later. Charleston drummers, can you just drum us out of here? We give thanks. We give thanks. We give honor. We give praise. Thank you all for coming. It has been really, really beautiful. See you next year, June 23rd, Power Day. It's part of the Maroon Annual International Conference and Festival. The drummers are gathering. Walk good and may good Duppy walk with you until we see you at 2:30 in the Asafo Yard.